Well, first off, I fell into voice acting. So it wasn't like I heard somebody or saw somebody and I was like, I want to be like them. I happened to audition for something random, booked it, and then I got involved in voiceover. And then when I got an agent, I started learning about all the different people that work professionally. And I'd say that anybody who was like youngish, had a young sound, male sound, but was working all the time, I really paid attention to that. I was like, how are they? Because I wanted to do what they were doing. So there were a few younger guys at my agent's office that were working. And so anyone in that sort of world, a great example would be like Greg Sipes, Teen Titans and Beast Boy, right? So, he was probably, I don't know how old he is now, but he was probably, when I was new to LA, probably in his early 30s, late 20s. I don't know. And I thought, wow, what a career. Like, I want to be like that. Hey, it's Griffin Burns. You may know me as the voice of Tartaglia in Genshin Impact, Doppio in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, Muichiro in Demon Slayer, and Akira in Devilman Crybaby. And you're listening to Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mikhail Kasanova, and today we're joined once again, by a very, very special guest and friend of the show, the one, the only Griffin Burns. Griffin, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Mikhail, I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me, and I can't believe it's been like 4.5 years since the last time you had me on the show. So
I know, it's crazy. Like, I feel like the concept of time since COVID has just completely like thrown off any semblance of normal for us, because it just feels like it was the beginning of the year and then boom, we're already towards the end. So
yeah,
it's like
there's
crazy.
a little bit of a gap there, and everybody aged, but we didn't know it.
Yeah, man. So what's new with you? What's changed since the last time we had you on the show? I mean, a lot of stuff. A lot of new projects.
Probably a lot. Yeah, I was like, actually, before we got on the call, I keep like Excel sheet of my work so I can keep tabs on like payments and whatnot. But I was like, I need to remind myself like what I've been working on over the years. But yeah, a lot of new anime and new video games, original animation too, which is cool. Got a couple shows that kind of relatively recently dropped dubs on Hulu. One's called Mission Yozakura Family, which is really cool. It's kind of like a spy family type show. I got the privilege of voicing the lead in that one. His name is Taiyo Asano. And then there's another show called Ishira, which was already out for a little bit of time, but the English dub dropped fairly recently on that as well. And I voice Sojuro, the Willow Sword in that show. So for anyone watching, those are both cool ones, but you have to have Hulu to watch them, I think. Yeah.
And so you're doing all that, like, and also you're in Rising Impact, which just came out on Netflix.
Yeah. I'm in Rising Impact. I play a couple characters in that show, and I think season 2 just dropped just a few days ago. And
yeah.
I voice a British character. I'm gonna forgive me out there if I butcher the name, but I believe his name is Ice Carmine. Ice Carmine, and he's kind of has like what's that accent? It's like a Cockney. He's got like a bit of a Cockney thing going on. So I voice him, and then there's another show called TP Bond, which I don't expect anybody to watch. Although I think it's really cute. It's a great show. It's a time travel show with like a lot of history in it. I voiced the lead in that one too. So I've actually done quite a few lead characters in 2024, but we'll see whether people watch them. So there's a lot of anime out there. There's a lot of shows for people to catch up. I know when I'm at conventions, I'll see people's lists of like, these are all the shows I want to watch, and it's like 60 shows. So maybe in time, some of these will become popular, but yeah.
Oh man,
there's a lot out
there. So how does it feel like getting so many lead roles? Like, does it ever feel overwhelming or surreal, or how is it for you?
I wish it still felt surreal. I think it did when I was like earlier on in my career. I think it is still exciting. I'm still grateful for it. I have to be, because my time is more limited these days and I have more responsibilities just with life. When I book a lead, I think some of the first thoughts in my mind, other than being excited afterwards, I'm like, gosh, I hope this will fit in my schedule. That's because oftentimes if you get the lead character, you have the most lines, and the studio might need you for, 15, 20 sessions or something. And you're like, okay, I hope I can fit this in with my travel schedule. That's the other thing. Since the last time I talked to you, Mikkel, I started doing conventions, and that has become a huge part of my line of work and my lifestyle over the last, I'd say, 3 years. So I'm gone at least twice a month. I'm in some other state or country. I just got back from Vancouver, Canada, which was absolutely stunning. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is amazing. And then I was in Phoenix, which was not as amazing. It's not as amazing. No offense to people in Phoenix, but it is too hot there.
Wait, were you there when like that really nasty heat wave was going on? Oh,
I was there, I think, right at the start of it.
And it's dry heat, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever experienced where like you're outside and the breeze comes and you think, oh, the breeze there is like flames being like thrown your way. There's no relief in being any kind of wind in Phoenix does not relieve you or cool you off. It feels like flaming the fan.
Oh wow!
Fanning the flames, fanning the flames. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, yeah. So it's like, and when you walk outside, it's like you walked into an oven.
Oh my goodness!
So I know that it's like only 4 months or something out of the year that it's that hot, but it's brutal. You got to be indoors. There. Yeah.
So like, how do you deal with like the jet lag? Because you got to get jet lag with as much as you're traveling.
I get jet lag. East Coast is the worst for me. It's like I'll go because I live in Los Angeles, I'll fly to say Connecticut or something. Day one is okay. It's manageable. It's like day two where it really hits you and you're like, oh man, I don't normally get up at this time. It's like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. in LA right now. And after like a long first Friday or whatever, it really hits you. There's no way around it. It's difficult. Sometimes I have to take like sleep aids at night so that I can trick my body into going to bed earlier so that I can get my 7 or 8 hours. Cause that's tricky. But if you're leaving the country, then, all bets are off. You just good luck. I did England at the end of last year. I went up to Birmingham, and those first 2 or 3 days, it's like being flipped upside down. It's bad.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to 2 of my friends. They're also voice actors, Ryan Colt, Levy, and also talking to Callie Bear, who was actually just recently out here in Hawaii for KawaiiCon. And
cool.
I'm like, you guys are always traveling. Like, how do you manage doing that, keeping your sanity, dealing with the jet lag, and still having to go back in the booth and record? That's got to be. I can't imagine.
Yeah, we all think we're invincible, and then, it's for so much of our life, and then when I still forget how taxing travel can be on the body, and I'll get frustrated. I'll be like, it's no big deal. I was just in Phoenix, that's all. And I'm back to sessions. It's like, but no, going, even if it's like an hour flight, 2-hour flight, getting on a plane is tiring. The mental preparation of travel and talking with people all day, and just the whole thing is tiring. So I need to remind myself to go easy on myself, because I'm always like, why am I feeling fatigued? I'm young. I'm still relatively young, but no, it doesn't matter. It happens. Just get wiped out.
I don't know if you agree with this, because I believe we're close in age, but I feel like the energy levels that we had in our 20s is just not the same in our 30s. Like,
Yeah.
it's like we can't bounce back as quickly as like before. I feel like in my 20s, I can go out to a bar or to a club, or I can go party, get like maybe a couple hours of sleep, boom, I can get up, go to work, and just be fine.
Yeah.
But now in my 30s, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. For sure. I think my interest has changed. Like I don't desire to be out very late typically.
Yeah.
I don't want to party so much anymore or anything like that. I don't know. But yeah, it takes more of a toll. I work out a lot, as I know you do too. I do Orange Theory, but I also have been getting really into running, and I definitely like didn't stretch when I was young. I like never would stretch, like maybe a little bit here and there, but man, if I don't stretch now, that's definitely can be an issue. Like just like even side bends, I'm like, why am I so stiff?
You're right.
So yeah, it's a little different. I mean, I'm grateful to still be like very in good shape and able to do pretty much everything I could do when I was younger. But I do think it's getting a little different. But people tell me like once you pass 40, then it's like really different. Then it's like you really got to warm up and you really got to watch what you eat and all, etc. So.
That's one of the things that really has me nervous too, because like for me, 40s is like, okay, so my birthday is in October, I'll be 36. So I'm like 4 years away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of worried because people are telling me that too. They're like, you're gonna have to watch what you eat. You're gonna have to be doing like literally the stretching, because like the current workout regimen that the agency has me on now, like I do at least 3 times a day. Each session is like an hour long of just light and heavy weights, no breaks in between sets or reps, or no, between sets, at least 15 seconds rest between reps. And then after that, I have another hour of just pure cardio. I'm trying, and I got like 6 months for this role. I'm doing this role for one of the filmmakers out here, and so like I have 6 months to get into shape for this role.
Cool.
And like they were telling me, like, yeah, when you hit 40, it's gonna be a whole lot harder to do that.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That's a pretty intense regime for working out. But that's great. Yeah, the internet thinks I'm younger than I really am. So whatever the internet says, I'm actually like plus 2 years. So my birthday is also in October. What date is yours?
October 6th.
Okay, I'm the 26th.
Okay, so
yeah, so coming up, another birthday coming up here pretty soon, actually.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So how's it going with your band, new girlfriend? You guys still touring, or
I wish we were touring, but actually, funny enough, we are putting out a song today. We're submitting it to Spotify today. It should be out next week. So whoever's watching this, let's see, today is the 16th. So next Friday, whatever that date is, I think like the 23rd, 24th, it'll be coming out. And then we got another single as well. We're mainly focusing on like one-off singles. I think with Kylan, who's in my band with me, also does voiceover, acting and stuff. So I think for like our lifestyle, it's a little easier to get in occasionally and do a session on one song rather than like do a whole album or whatever. And we don't have any shows at the moment. We still have a very active Patreon account, and so we do like monthly hangouts with our patrons. We play games with them and stuff, and so we do that every month. We've been doing that for 2 years now, which is cool. So shout out to my patrons if they're watching this. But yeah, it's mainly just singles here and there, and having fun with it. Occasional shows, not too much pressure on the music. I mean, I'd love to do more of it, but kind of going where with your career, you just kind of go where things are leading you. And right now, it's conventions. So yeah, doing a lot of that. That's my touring.
So speaking of going to all the different conventions, what was it like the first time you got to do that? Like, was it nerve-wracking, exciting, all of the above? Like, what was it like for you?
Okay. Well, the first time I ever got to go to one, I believe this was the first experience. A voice actor, a well-known one, had dropped out because of a illness, or I think it might have been COVID. Actually, couldn't go, and so an agent or an actor, somebody reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Griffin, would you want to do this event in Texas?" It was like the first WeebCon event, and they're like, "You'd be filling in for so and so. This is the rate. This is what you would need to do and bring, and blah blah blah." And I thought, well, yeah, this sounds awesome. They're going to pay me pretty well. And I was a little nervous. I wasn't equipped. I didn't have a lot of prints made of my characters or anything, but I went out to the event. A lot of people around me had been doing this stuff for a long time. So they all knew the ropes. They had like their banners and their pop-up banners and stuff. So I didn't know if I'd do okay or if people would want to see me, but even without any announcement, it was like a week's notice to the event or 2 weeks notice. I had a lot of people that came up, wanted autographs, was stoked about my work and stuff like that. And it was really, really cool. I was super excited, super flattered. I was hooked. I was like, this is great. Like, sign me up. Let's do a lot of these. So yeah, the first experience was good and I didn't get sick or anything. That's good. Because that was like borderline when it still wasn't certain the status with COVID. So like, we're wearing masks, but there's like thousands of people here. I don't know. So
okay,
yeah, that was the first. I think the first one.
Okay, so what is it like having to? Because how many breaks on average do you get to have when you're at these conventions? Because like when I went to QuaiCon, I was recently out here, and I was looking at Kyle's line and Chris Sabat's line and others. Like they're literally there from like I want to say like 9 o'clock in the morning to probably 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Yeah. And that's not got to be good having to sit that long. And those chairs aren't comfortable either.
Right.
It look like.
Well, they're making a lot of money, so it's they're going to stick it out. But yeah, it's up to you when you want to take breaks. You're normally given like an hour or something for lunch or something, but you can get up whenever you want. The thing is that with people like the star level, the top level voice talent who are signing all day, they want to make sure that all their fans are seen because they want to honor all the people in line. And it's just the weekend. So I think some people are like, you know what, I'm just going to buckle down. And even though this is going to be hard on my body, it's going to be really tiring. I'm going to do my best. I'm only here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's just get through it. And then, they'll eat a really good meal that night. But I do need breaks. I have gotten to the point, there have been events that were so busy where like I start to get blurry vision and like you're signing a Funko Pop and you're like not even sure you're writing the right words. So yeah, there are times when you got to take just like at least a 10-minute break, have an applesauce packet or whatever, a protein bar, just have a timeout, even like duck behind the curtain. Fans are really understanding. I feel like most of the people I've interacted with at these cons, fans are incredibly kind and like, hey, take your breaks, get your water, we'll wait for you, which is really nice. So if you need that time, you can step behind the curtain or whatever, take it, and people aren't going to run away from your line and be like, oh, these guys are an asshole. They'll just they'll wait for you. But yeah, I can see how like some people just want to stick it out. Like Bryce Papenbrook is like notorious for not taking breaks. He's like a machine, has high energy, always in a good mood, and will sign for like 12 hours. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Because if it were me, I would be cranky. I'd not be very, friendly. I know I would be friendly, but I would be like tired friendly. I'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, how do you spell your name? So anyway,
what's like the craziest okay, so like what's the craziest thing that's ever happened at one of the conventions that you've been to, and what's one of the most like fun experiences that you've had at a convention?
craziest fun. Okay, well, let me just throw out like one of my favorite moments was when I stepped into the Gaylord Hotel for Katsucon, which is in like the National Harbor area. I always get confused as to where exactly it is, but it's like near Baltimore and near DC ish. That hotel, coming off of my prior cons, going to that convention, I was like stunned at how like luxurious some of these conventions can be. Like the hotel has an atrium with basically like a village in it with restaurants, and like all the hotel rooms sort of face out and over this beautiful little, I don't know, looks like a little town. And then you have glass that just shows out to like the river, and it's like amazing. So for me, when I stepped in there, I was like, this is where I get to be for the weekend. This is incredible. Like, what a nice hotel. And they had on site, there was like a chef or whatever cooking food for the talent and for the staff, and the green room overlooked everything. It was just like, felt really luxurious and special. So that was really cool. Yeah.
So having, doing these conventions, the amount of time you're going to be there over a 3-day weekend, how long does it take to recharge your social battery? Because I'm sure it's got to take it out of you.
Yes. It varies, but I'd say like at least 48 hours sometimes. Yeah, a couple days.
Okay.
I'm normally, not very social the Monday I get back. And then it's even harder if I have things scheduled. Like a lot of times I will come back and I'll have session work, I'll have auditions, and so anyone who's close to me in my life, I tell them like, I'm really tired. I just need a moment to like, bounce back, and it's not you, so yeah, it's a good question.
Okay. No, I mean, I with this, every time like I see your social media, like you're posting and you're going to this event and then you're working on this project, and I'm just thinking like, man, I know he's got to be tired. I know you're just soldiering through it. Like,
yeah, it is. It's tiring. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but I've got, probably not, but I have like more grays coming into my beard than ever before. So I imagine the travel is maybe contributing. But the way I look at it is like, I'm still relatively young. This is the time to do it. Probably not going to be able to travel this much later on, or I won't want to. And the other thing is like, I don't know how long, certain properties will be popular. Genshin has been huge for me, but there will be a time when that's not as popular. And Demon Slayer is also really big, but there will be a time where, there's another show, another game that's going to be huge, and might not be a part of those. So I'm just, I guess, striking while the iron is hot, and enjoying it while I can.
No, I mean, that's the best way to approach that, in my opinion, because it's like you say, you don't know how long these properties are going to be hot. It literally, there is a shelf life for it, and you can just get in and you're ride that wave and make the money and do all the signings and conventions and everything. And hey, if it rides off into the sunset, that's how it is.
As an actor, as somebody who's freelance, who does it, you know how it is. You don't know necessarily what your next paycheck will be. I've been very fortunate that I've been doing this career for quite a while, 14 years now, and I have never had a scare where I'm like a scarcity of work, or I've gone a stretch of time without, I mean, early on, but once I got up and running, I've pretty much just, things have been continually going up. But it is not lost on me that you could go from having an outstanding year to things drying up relatively quickly. And so I just, I would rather be frugal, save my money, but also work as much as possible. And I tend to not turn down small jobs unless they don't pay appropriately or they're against my values. I tend to just like to work and do as much as I can, without overworking myself. Because again, I'd rather put in all that work in my 30s, 40s, but I don't want to have to, work as hard or travel as much later on.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, with Genshin Impact and how, like, that blew up, and especially with, like, social media and everything like that, how surreal was that? And is it still as crazy with, like, the amount of, like, Genshin Impact fans that were, like, reaching out to you since you're Tartaglia?
Yeah. It was pretty crazy when it started. I did not see it coming. I never, ever would have thought that things would change for me in a significant way because of one property. It was my introduction to having fans, to fandom, to like people really caring about something that I'm in. So, I didn't use my social media a whole lot. I just an average social media user, maybe a couple thousand followers on Instagram, maybe a couple thousand on Twitter, whatever. But overnight, it was like everything just kind of blew up. I went on TikTok. I remember, actually, I was in Hawaii when I joined TikTok. This was like several years ago. On a little vacation, and Karina Botker, who plays Paimon in Genshin, said, "Why don't you join TikTok? A lot of fans are on there. They'd love to see you on there." And I joined, and overnight, I gained 50,000 followers in 24 hours. I posted one video. It's like an intro video, like, "Hey, I'm Griffin Burns. I voice this character and this character." And overnight, there's like 50,000 people. And then I kept posting, and like within, I don't know, 6 months, I probably had like 500,000. Wow. It just grew and grew, and so it was shocking. It was really cool, and I guess it's like the first taste of fame that I'd ever had. So I'm reluctant to use that word or call myself a celebrity or talk about being famous. It feels really foreign to say that, but that, yeah, in a way, yeah, I guess I am, but it doesn't, I don't know. Internally, I'm not like, I don't feel that way, but it's neat to be treated that way sometimes. When I show up to a con and there's hundreds of people that say, "You know what, you helped me get through COVID," or "Your content made me laugh," or "My mom and I love your stuff," whatever it is. "I love your music." And I hear this enough times that I think, gosh, there really are a lot of people around the world that like my work and know what I do. So it's really neat. It's really special.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, because we've known each other like before the Genshin Impact. Like, you were the first voice actor I've ever interviewed. And it's crazy. It's been almost 10 years since the first time
10 years.
It's been almost 10 years, bro.
Oh my god! Wow,
it's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah, we're just shy of 10 years.
Oh my goodness!
The first time we did a podcast, and it's like literally. I may have said this before. I'll say it again, but like, you were literally the catalyst for my career as a professional podcaster.
Oh wow!
Being the first guest I've ever had, give me that opportunity, and I'm always going to be grateful to you for that.
Oh, that's really cool. I don't know if I knew that, or you probably told me maybe 10 years ago, but I'd forgotten that. That's really neat. Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. That's I wouldn't be where I'm at now with the stuff I'm doing
oh,
if not for you being on the show. So I'm real grateful for you for
yeah.
that.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. I'm happy that helped you out in ways. That's really cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
man. Dude, I was gonna say, yeah, it's crazy how like you can do something like and not expect it to blow up. Like I did the like a lot of the what's it kind of called playtesting for Genshin Impact before it came out.
Mm,
And I
mm-hmm,
remember playing it and I'm like, oh, this is cool, but I don't know if this is gonna blow up,
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
aesthetically a lot of people were like, oh, it looks like a Zelda Breath of the Wild clone, because that's what
Yeah.
everyone was saying
Yep.
for the longest. And
Mm-hmm.
then overnight, it just seems like it astronomically blew up. And then all my other friends that are voicing on there, they're like, yeah, like once that blew up, like it just shot me into a whole different stratosphere. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that that's gotta feel like there are people who don't understand what it's like to be famous, and they think it's always glitz and glamour, it's always positive, having fans constantly reaching out to you. Does it ever for you get overwhelming, the fame and the attention?
Um, well, like we hinted on or touched on earlier, it can be really tiring.
Yeah.
When I really, really try my best and in a very genuine way to see and hear everybody that comes to my booth. So when someone
Mhm.
comes up to me, I want to know a little bit about them. I want to know their name. I want to know where they're from, and I listen to whatever they want to tell me. Whether Genshin's their favorite game or they love Devilman, Crybaby, or whatever. But when you give someone a little bit of your time, but hundreds of people over the course of a weekend, it really does take a toll on you, and
Mhm.
it can be very tiring. So there's that one aspect, and I will not complain about it because it's a privilege to get to do that, to go to those shows.
Mhm.
It comes with the territory, but it's a reality. And then I'd say social media really has like a downside to it. Inevitably, it doesn't matter what discipline you are or whatever you've become known for. There will always be somebody. I call it like sort of the 1%, right? It's like you may
Mhm.
have 99% fans that just absolutely love you, think you're funny, think you're kind, whatever. There's always going to be 1 out of 100 that do not like you for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And so you're going to see um, you're going to see negative things out there about you. You're going to see some stuff that you don't want to see, and that's what I would tell any younger person that's encountering that is like, hey, if you're only seeing 1% of your comments that are negative, you're probably doing something right. you're
Mhm.
you know you're probably doing something that others either envy, want to be like, or whatever. It's if you have overwhelmingly a lot of fans that like what you do not worry about those other people. They're probably just unhappy people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a downside too, is you're gonna see, if you're gonna search your name in
Yeah.
Twitter, maybe don't do it,
Yeah.
because I never forget the first time I did that. I was like, whoa, there's a lot of comments about me on here, but mostly positive,
Yeah.
but every now and then you'll be like, I hate Griffin Burns, he sucks. And you're like, okay, well, teach their own.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things with social media that I'm actually having to teach my teenage daughters, because like they're always on it, and I keep telling them like you have to understand that social media is not real life. It's probably a small percentage blown up into thinking that, oh, this is everything, everyone's looking at
Right,
that. And
right.
I'm like, you have to put that in perspective, because there's a lot of unhappy people. um
Yes, yeah.
One of the things that I kind of, a lot of people think is weird that I do this, but like I don't, outside of Facebook, and even if I post on Facebook, I lock it to friends only. I don't post anything about my personal life, like with my
Mm.
family. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just because I feel like there are always those extremes. I'm just gonna say extreme type of people.
Yeah.
I've actually had
Yeah.
that happen once where I kind of got into a Twitter beef with another content creator who is much larger than me. He's in like 500,000 or so. And his audience decided to get involved in that. And it got to a point where I got doxxed and folks showed up at my kid's school,
Oh, wow.
my partner's place, at her job and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah, after that, I keep it. And a lot of the negative, when I see negative comments, I look at it, I just hit either block or mute or just ignore it, because for the sake of your mental health,
Yeah.
you have to step back.
Totally. 100%. I completely understand. I've had several instances on social media where things get misconstrued, taken out of context, and people start calling you a certain whatever. They'll fill the blank, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
People will grasp at straws. And that's why I say, like, if you're doing something that's catching a lot of attention, if you're doing something where it's getting thousands of likes and thousands of shares, there's going to be somebody that is going to find something or take something and spin it another way and make you look, try to make you look bad. They want to try to knock you off or take you down. So if that's happening, you're probably doing something right.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears, like, how has it been since you joined the cast of Demon Slayer? Has it been like surreal, or?
Demon Slayer's been a slow burn for me because my character initially had very little to say. For those watching or listening, I voiced Muichiro in Demon Slayer, and he in season 1, he's really just seen, I believe, at the end, and he has like a couple lines, but it's not till season 3, the Swordsmith Village arc, where you get to really see Muichiro and learn about his backstory. And so, interestingly, at cons, normally I sign 90% or 95% is Genshin. The other 5% will be like Demon Slayer, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hunter x Hunter, stuff like that. But now, because of that 3rd season being digested and people liking Muichiro, I would say it's becoming more like 65-35 or 60-40. So like more and more people are wanting Muichiro Prince. They're really liking that character. So yeah, it's cool. I guess for me, whereas like say Zach Aguilar or maybe Abby Trott or some of the lead like main core, they've been experiencing the fame of that or the explosiveness of that for several years now. But I would say for me, it's kind of been a delayed effect, whereas like Genshin was huge for me. And now I'm starting to see more fan interaction and engagement for Demon Slayer.
Okay.
A little later.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because you're Doppio in that?
Yeah. Yep. What about it?
Have you had like a lot of people are like, do they request like prints for that, or you to say lines or anything from?
A lot of people want, when they come up to me and they say, "Oh my God, I love Doppio," and immediately I just go doo, 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 and I do his phone ring, and the person there will be like, "Oh, I'm so glad. I didn't want to ask you to do it, but I was so glad you did it. I wanted you to do it." So I do a lot of that. He's popular for sure. There are a lot of people out there that love Doppio. They love Diavolo. They love that Golden Wind. I think that's the chapter of So yeah, there's a lot of huge fans out there. I do sign a lot of prints for Doppio. I would say he's in my top 3, top 4 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I personally have one last question before we go into the fan questions that we got on all the different social media platforms. Like literally, cool. I got thousands. So I narrowed these down to like, I'm going to say roughly 12. They're all short questions. So sorry for the thousands of people. Can't get to every question. We'll get to some of them. What I do want to say is like, your last trip out here to Hawaii, which is really recent, like how was it? I know we talked a little bit before we recorded, but like you said, you got to do some hiking and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like how as someone who gets to come out to Hawaii a lot, like versus the commercial, like the how they portray Hawaii in media, it's like this is how it is versus actually getting to be there for like. Do you see a big difference between the two?
That's a good question. I'm not too in tune with like how the media portrays Hawaii necessarily. But I do think it lives up to a lot of the hype. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the first time I ever went to Hawaii, I went to Kauai, and that place is surreal. Like there's the first several days when you're in Hawaii or on that island, I was sort of pinching myself, being like, I can't believe this is real. This looks fake. Maui, I didn't feel the same way about it's beautiful, but it's a bigger island. There's things are more spread out. There are places that are, again, just like amazing. Like the hiking was incredible. Did some sort of bamboo forest hike that led to a series of waterfalls, and that's just an experience. You're not going to get everywhere. The food was incredible. A lot of fresh seafood, and yeah, just a lot of raw beauty. I will say I don't love to be in heavily touristed areas. I get that naturally because my parents sort of always sought vacations that were a little more on the low key. So I think being in the pocket that I stayed in Maui, it was cool, but there is this like tourism factor that it kind of cheapens it for me in a way.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get outside of that. I like to explore other areas that aren't, full of tourists, but I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
Okay.
But
well, yeah. if you ever come to Oahu, let me know. I'll pick you up and I'll take you around the island.
All right. That sounds good. I will let you know.
It's kind of crazy because that's like every time one of my voice actor friends comes out here, like I'm that guy for Oahu.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So jumping into the questions that we got across all social media platforms. So we're going to go with this is from X Spectra Arts. Okay. Their question is, when will you, Griffin, when will you come to KawaiiCon out here in Honolulu, Hawaii? We would love to have you.
I would love to go. I actually was invited to go this year. I had to cancel because my family's vacation. My parents are getting a little older. Schedules conflicted, but I'm hoping to get invited maybe in 2025. There's no promises. Conventions are competitive, just like voice acting gigs. So it's like, if they want to have me next year, great. If not a whole lot I can do. Best thing is to have fans write guest relations and say, hey, we'd love to see Griffin.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is from, I'm sorry if I butcher this. Kitsune Creations 1. They ask, do you think Muichiro should be this buff at his age of 14?
That's hilarious. Well, of course. Sorry, I just burped. Of course he should be that buff. I mean, he's so strong. He's so powerful. He's shockingly powerful. So he's got to have some muscle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is shocking. I'll give you that. It's shocking.
Okay. This is from Dreaming on the Fly. They ask, Griffin, are you a fan of My Chemical Romance? You did a great job on the I'm Not Okay cover.
I will tell you that one of the first shows I went to as a teenager was to see My Chemical Romance. So I loved them growing up. I have not listened to them in many, many, many years until TikTok again. And somehow Gen Z likes MCR. So I was like digging up my past, trying to do a cover song an MCR cover song. So yes, I do like them, but it's like I've brushed off an old dusty book, and not that they're a dusty book. They're better than that, but okay. I don't want to dig myself into a hole. Stop answering that question.
This one's from. Oh man. Okay. M. Luckman Ibrahim Salim. I hope I said that right. They ask, Griffin, who inspires you to be a voice actor?
Who inspired me to be a voice actor, or actively?
I think they meant inspired. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have a specific person, but I will say that when I was starting out, well, first off, I fell into voice acting. So it wasn't like I heard somebody or saw somebody and I was like, I want to be like them. I happened to audition for something random, booked it, and then I got involved in voiceover. And then when I got an agent, I started learning about all the different people that work professionally. And I'd say that anybody who was like youngish, had a young sound, male sound, but was working all the time, I really paid attention to that. I was like, how are they? Because I wanted to do what they were doing. So there were a few younger guys at my agent's office that were working. And so anyone in that sort of world, a great example would be like Greg Sipes, Teen Titans and Beast Boy, right? So, he was probably, I don't know how old he is now, but he was probably, when I was new to LA, probably in his early 30s, late 20s. I don't know. And I thought, wow, what a career. Like, I want to be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Ava_Olivia F. It said, Griffin, how do you think Muichiro and Childe would interact with each other if they met?
I think Childe would have the utmost respect for Muichiro because Childe loves to fight and he's a family man, right? He's like protective of his little brother Tusser. So Muichiro will represent Tusser in his eyes, but like a buffer version, like a strong version. So he's going to have mad respect for Muichiro. They're going to get along great.
Okay. Let's see. This is from TRT Licious. Interesting username. It says, will Griffin ever come to Greece?
Once again, if the convention wants to have me out, if Greece has a con and the fans would like to see me and they agree to have me out, I would love to go to Greece. I've been to Greece once. I was on the island of Crete. It was during my study abroad way back in 2009. But yeah, I'd love to go back. Love the food. I've got some Greek ancestry somewhere in me. So yeah.
Okay.
Invite me out.
Okay. So I got 4 more little quick questions and then we'll wrap up. So this one's from Shot for Worm. Shot number 4 Worm. Okay. It says, does Griffin have any pets?
I do not have any pets of my own. I did grow up with dogs. And my mom, who lives in Pennsylvania, has too many horses. But I do not have any pets. So I live vicariously through others with pets.
All right. So this is from Kennedy R. Okay, Kennedy RFFI. They asked, as the voice of Akira, blah. I just messed that up. I'm sorry. I fucked up your question. Let me redo that.
Akira Fudo. Yeah.
As the voice of Akira Fudo, aka Devilman, what's your favorite part from the anime?
From the what?
From the anime.
From the anime? I would have to go with the music. The soundtrack is really, really cool. And I like the aesthetic. I think that show did something different than a lot of anime did with both the soundtrack and the aesthetic and even the storyline too. But it's a bit shocking. When you watch it, you're like, whoa, what is this? Like, it's really cool. So I just was stoked to be part of something that's just like a little different. So
okay.
yeah.
All right. So last two questions. We got one from Aquaholic Cosplay. They said, or they're asking, are we getting new Scare a Child music soon? I also hope you love the beanies I made you.
Oh,
/ Pat - Aqua.
yeah. Yes. So for anyone who's listening or watching, I do a little bit of music with the voice of Scaramouche, Pat Pedraza. He's in Genshin Impact. We formed a little band called Scared Child, Scaramouche and Child. And there's a few songs on Spotify. We do have another one in the works. It is pretty much done. We're rewriting some lyrics. But yes, expect some new music from us. We have not given up on the project. More to come.
Okay. This last question is from. Right. I'm gonna completely butcher this. I'm so sorry. Okay. Diemp Hyung Nguyen 98.
Okay.
Correct me in the comments if I said that incorrectly. All right. Griffin, does he drink tea? If so, what tea does he usually drink? Or what do you drink tea?
I drink tea occasionally. As a voice actor, I drink throat coat tea. Sometimes something with caffeine in the morning, like a green tea. I'm not a huge tea drinker, but if I'm feeling a little like groggy or something, it's nice to have something warm. And yeah.
Okay.
That's that.
All right. And that's all the questions. I'm sorry. I know we got thousands of questions. I had to narrow it down to that. It wasn't really easy, but those are the questions that got highlighted. So, hey, if you got your questions answered, cool. If you didn't, maybe next time we do this. But with that being said, man, is there anything you want to leave the audience with before we go, or any advice you want to give to anyone who might be aspiring to be a voice actor or get into voice acting?
Let's see. Sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something I haven't said in the past, but definitely practice a ton. You want to get really good at the thing that you want to do. It's as simple as that. It's like, be really good at the thing you want to do. Be a decent human being, be friendly. Like, that goes such a long way, having a good work ethic, but also being easy to work with. Gosh, like that's night and day. And really understand like your sound. There's so many people out there. I get people come up to me all the time and say they can do all these different voices, and they can do a monster voice, they can do this, they can do that, and I think that's great. But like, just be really good at you. Like, for me, my natural sound is often what books me. It's like, I sound young. I play like a young male protagonist, or maybe someone a little edgier or whatever, but generally it's my voice print. So I'm not straying too far higher or lower. It's mainly me. So you can use that to your advantage. Whatever it is that you bring to the table is probably something bookable. So get really good at that. Yeah, I don't know. Have fun. Have fun with it. Life is short. Try to enjoy it.
Yeah. All right, man. Any projects or anything you want to tease, or that you can?
Sure.
Notwithstanding.
One thing that's really cool. I am Ken in a new Barbie show that comes out in the fall on Netflix. So it's really neat to get to be in that. I've recorded a bunch of episodes over the last couple of years, and so this fall you'll see. It's mainly for younger audience, but if you want to check it out and hear me voice Ken, it'll be on Netflix. Many other games and anime as well, but I probably can't mention them because of NDAs. So,
All right, man. And with that being said, where can people find you? Go ahead and plug that and plug in.
Oh, sure. Let's see. On Instagram, it's my Griffin Burns. Same on TikTok, my Griffin Burns, and then on Twitter, which is X now. Griffin Burns.
Always going to be Twitter.
That's how I feel. Like, I don't even want to honor it and call it X because it seems ridiculous. But Yeah. And if you are interested in my music, please check out my band, New Girlfriend. New Girlfriend. And if you know what movie that name came from, you get major brownie points. So I won't tell you.
All right, man. And with that being said, that's this episode. Again, special thank you to Griffin Burns for taking time out of his incredibly busy schedule to come on the show. And yeah, man, links to everything for you will be in the description down below. So if you guys want to follow, don't stalk. There's a big difference. Give him a follow across all social media platforms. Be cool. Go to whatever conventions he's going to be at. Be cool. Buy merch. Buy prints. Buy all that stuff. Support the people that you enjoy their work of. And with that being said, we're signing out, and we can catch you guys next. Peace out. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast or any of the other episodes that we've done so far, if you've enjoyed any of the conversations I've had with the guests that I've had on the show, or just general topics that you guys have thrown at me or that I've researched and we've just talked about on the show, then do me a solid. If you're listening on any of the major podcasting outlets, make sure you leave a comment, leave a rating or a review, because it greatly helps out the show. If you're watching the show on YouTube, which airs every single week, then make sure you sub to the channel, youtube.com/@Mikhail Kasanova, or just youtube.com/Mikhail Kasanova, or even do us an even bigger solid by liking the video and sharing it with someone you think would find some enjoyment out of it. And all that being said, I hope you guys continue to enjoy this podcast and the content we put out here, because hey, we do it with a passion and we do it for you. So with that being said, I catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, and I'll see you around. Peace.